Very good evening. You're watching Prime Time TV1 live and direct from our news.
Rochelle Tumodra, let's start off the look at your headlines for tonight.
I'm Jadabdin.
And I'm Rochelle Tumodra. Let's start off the look at your headlines for tonight.
Turkish Airlines aircraft that made an emergency landing in Katunayaka departs BIA after undergoing repairs. China vows maximum support for the government's post-cyclone recovery efforts. Japan extends $2.5 million emergency grant to support cyclone-affected communities in Sri Lanka. Youth confronts Namal Rajapaksa over disaster relief in Laggala.
And on to those stories in detail. In your top story this evening, the Turkish Airlines aircraft that made a safe emergency landing at Bandaranaike International Airport, Katunayaka, early this morning due to a technical malfunction, departed the BIA after undergoing repairs at the airport. Thanks to the precautionary measures taken by the crew, all 212 passengers and crew were unharmed in the emergency landing.
The Turkish Airlines Airbus A330-300 wide-body aircraft departed the Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunayaka for Istanbul, Turkey at 10 p.m. last night. At the time of departure, the aircraft was carrying 202 passengers and 10 crew members. Just minutes after takeoff, the pilots detected a technical malfunction and immediately notified the Katunayaka Air Traffic Control.
Just minutes after 10 p.m. last night, residents around Shillong and other surrounding areas were alarmed by an aircraft flying unusually low, far lower than its usual altitude. Now, for a brief moment, global attention was turned to this aircraft. Now, according to flight data analysis, it reveals that this unusual pattern of its journey circling in a restricted airspace. But the question still remains. What happened to this Turkish Airlines flight?
Shortly after departing from Katunayaka, the Airbus A330-300 aircraft experienced a malfunction when its landing gear failed to retract properly, prompting the need for an emergency landing. As the flight had been scheduled for a long-haul journey of over 8.5 hours, the aircraft was carrying a heavy load of fuel, making an immediate landing highly risky. Certain Airbus A330-300 aircraft do not have the capability to jettison fuel in an emergency. Therefore, the pilots initiated a standard safety procedure, circling in controlled airspace to burn excess fuel and reduce the aircraft's weight to a safe level for landing.
After the malfunction was detected in the aircraft had to maintain an altitude of about 6,000 feet with a speed of 160 knots. And the pilots had to maintain a controlled maneuver to make sure that the aircraft is burning all the excess fuel. However, in an effort to avoid any disruptions that this could cause to any other operations at the Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunayaka, the pilots kept circling the aircraft over nearly 30 times over 2.5 hours in the Shillong and other surrounding areas. Fortunately, around 12:30 a.m., the pilots successfully safe landed the aircraft at the Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunayaka, where they saved all lives on board this Turkish Airlines Airbus A330-300 aircraft.
All necessary preparations for an emergency landing had been completed at the airport by that time. At 12:30 a.m., the pilots successfully executed a safe landing, bringing the aircraft to a complete stop at the designated point on the runway.
The flight landed safely without any problem at all. Had made all the arrangements to return the aircraft to the Katunayaka Bandaranaike International Airport, and during that time we had made Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport ready also for any flight diversions. During that time Actually, we had to divert 2 aircraft to Matla Rajapaksa International Airport as well. The passengers were looked after by the particular airline and their comfort was ensured as well.
After completing its repairs, the aircraft departed BIA this evening, bound for Turkey, with 51 passengers and 10 crew members on board.
China has vowed maximum support for Sri Lanka's post-cyclone recovery efforts.
The Vice Chairman of the National People's Congress of the People's Republic of China, Wang Dingming, met with President Andrakumara Dissanayake at the Presidential Secretariat. During the meeting, President Dissanayake briefed the Chinese delegation on the recent disaster situation in Sri Lanka and the government's comprehensive recovery plan. He requested China's technical assistance to restore and rebuild the damaged railway infrastructure, which was severely affected by the disaster. The President emphasized that the government's immediate priority was rescuing affected communities and relocating them to safe areas, while ensuring access to essential services such as food and health care. He further stated that structured plans are now underway to help restore normalcy in the lives of those impacted. Vice Chairman Wang Dingming assured that China will extend its fullest support to Sri Lanka's recovery efforts, helping overcome challenges caused by the devastating cyclone. He expressed confidence that under President Disanayake's leadership, Sri Lanka will return to normalcy swiftly.
Germany and Luxembourg have sent 500,000 euros worth of aid to Sri Lanka.
A special cargo aircraft carrying a humanitarian aid consignment from Germany and Luxembourg touched down in Sri Lanka early this morning. The aid arrived aboard a Boeing 747-400 freighter, landing at Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunayake in the early hours. The shipment weighs an impressive 69,000 kilograms and is valued at 500,000 euros. The consignment includes emergency shelter tents, cooking equipment for meal preparation, mattresses and advanced water purification systems.
Germany stands in solidarity with the people of Sri Lanka. Today we received emergency assistance under the European mechanism, civil protection mechanism. It's about 59 tons of relief items, including kitchen aid and tents and beds and water purification. And we hope to contribute to the fast recovery of Sri Lanka in that way.
These essential supplies are expected to play a vital role in assisting communities affected by recent disasters. Under the Sagar Bandhu operation implemented by the Government of India, dry rations were distributed today to 400 families in the Kandy district. The program was carried out at the Sirasa premises in Kandy.
The government of Japan has decided to extend an emergency grant amounting to $2.5 million to Sri Lanka in response to the devastating damage caused by the recent cyclone. The announcement was made official in Colombo.
Government of Japan decided yesterday on providing $2.5 million worth of assistance to be provided to the people of Sri Lanka who are impacted by this cyclone Didwa. And we are doing this, we are providing this money through UN agencies. And I would like to appreciate the cooperation and partnership that we have been receiving, Government of Japan has been receiving from all these agencies. Actually, this assistance of $2.5 million is part of our ongoing efforts of the Japanese government to assist the people in need in Sri Lanka right now. We are providing $1 million through WFP for food items, $1 million through IOM for shelters $500,000 through UNICEF for water, sanitation, hygiene, and child care, child protection, and so on. Although the situation is moving on from the immediate stage of emergency response to the next phase, recovery, rehabilitation, reconstruction, but there are still demands and needs for humanitarian assistance on the ground. We have to give them, first of all, safe living space, as well as food, nutrition, water, sanitation, hygiene are also very important to protect them from waterborne diseases. We have to take a special care of children, women, and elderly people. And this assistance of the Japanese government this time is also in response to the humanitarian priorities plan issued by UN OCHA earlier this week, which states $35.3 million funding requirement.
Canada has pledged over $2 million in emergency aid to Sri Lanka.
In the wake of Cyclone Titwa, which unleashed catastrophic flooding and landslides across Sri Lanka, claiming lives and destroying homes and infrastructure, Canada has stepped forward with a major humanitarian pledge. On the 16th of December, Randeep Sarai, Secretary of State for International Development, announced over $2 million Canadian in emergency funding to support relief efforts for thousands of families affected by the disaster. $1.4 million Canadian to the World Food Programme to provide immediate access to food for affected households, $350,000 Canadian to World Vision Canada, a member of the Humanitarian Coalition, to provide relief items and emergency shelters, along with water, sanitation and hygiene services through the Canadian Humanitarian Assistance Fund, and $215,000 Canadian to support the Sri Lanka Red Cross's ongoing relief operations through the Emergency Disaster Assistance Fund, which is administered by the Canadian Red Cross, and also another $70,000 Canadian provided through the Canada Fund for local initiatives to deliver emergency relief. Canada also confirmed that pooled humanitarian funds to which it contributes have been activated to bolster Sri Lanka's response.
The IMF board is set to discuss Sri Lanka's emergency aid request on Friday.
The Executive Board of the International Monetary Fund will convene on the 19th December to review Sri Lanka's formal request for emergency financial assistance under the Rapid Financing Instrument. The request, amounting to $200 million, equivalent to 26% of Sri Lanka's IMF quota, comes in the aftermath of Cyclone Titwa, which caused widespread destruction across the island. In a statement issued earlier, Ivan Papageorgiou, IMF Mission Chief for Sri Lanka, emphasized that the IMF remains actively engaged with Sri Lankan authorities during this critical period.
Repairs to roads, reservoirs, irrigation canals, farmlands, bridges and culverts damaged by the recent disaster are currently underway at a rapid pace. These efforts are being led by government officials, the Tri-Forces, the police and a large number of volunteers. Due to the overflow of the Mahaveli River, more than 2 kilometers of the main Polonnaruwa-Battikolo railway line between Gallala and Manapitiya is being restored. Railway workers are receiving assistance from the Sri Lanka Army for this task. At present, 1.5 kilometers of the railway track has already been repaired and completed. The Somavithiya-Sungavila main road near the Periyaru River was closed by the police due to the prevailing disaster situation. However, after 5 days, the access road to the Somavithiya temple was reopened today. Restoration work on farmlands in Polonnaruwa and Sungavila, which was submerged due to the overflow of the Mahaveli River, is now in progress with the active participation of farmers. The access road to Velgola village in Pasarabatula is also being restored. Electricity supply, which was disrupted for several days, is now being gradually restored to normal.
20 days without pause. Hands extended in solidarity. Aid gathered, organized and dispatched with precision. Across rugged mountains and dense forests, the Sirasa Sahanayatra flood convoy moves forward, unstoppable, unwavering, carrying lifelines to thousands crushed by disaster. This is not just a convoy, it is humanity in motion, a testament to resilience and compassion. Today marks day 2 for the relief team stationed in Badula district. In Uvaparnagama and Galahagama, 500 families received essential supplies, food, water, bedding, delivered under pouring rain against all odds. By evening, the convoy pressed on to Valimada's Hevenakumbra village, determined to reach every corner where hope is fading. Last night, the relief mission stretched deep into Anuradhapura, distributing critical supplies to villages in the Rajangane division, including 259 Thulana, Savastipura, Galpalama and Halmil Kulama. Today, the journey continued to Nochiagama, Kanduwava, Muslim colony, Rambava and Kalaoya, where families waited relief with silent prayers. At the MTV-MBC head office premises in Braybrook Place and the Department Broadcast Centre, the flow of donations remain relentless. People arrive with arms full of hope, bags of rice, bottled water, medicine, fueling the lifeline that stretches from the capital to the farthest village. This afternoon, a fresh convoy departed for Chilau and Daduruoya, targeting villages in Mutti Bandivala, Kavatia Vatta, Vattakalya and Egudavalla under the North Thandya division. The mission is clear: reach every soul, restore every life. 1,000 stories of survival from the capital to the remotest hamlet. The Sirasa Sahanayatra flood relief convoy is more than aid. It is a promise kept. A bridge of hope spanning 20 days and counting. For the people, by the people, always.
Newsfirst with the people.
In Mathale's Laggala area, at a safe centre where displaced residents are sheltered, the youth expressed strong opposition against Namal Rajapaksa, national organizer of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, as he attempted to level accusations regarding the disaster relief process not being carried out properly.
Namal Rajapaksa visited the safe centre located at Udugama Sri Purana Vihara in Adavala, Laggala. The situation unfolded as the MP began to voice critical remarks.
මේ විශේෂ ඉන්නේ මේ රටේ විධායක ජනාධිපතිවරයා. ඒක අමතක කරන්න එපා. අනුර චෝදනා කරන්න ඔබතුමා මේ පැත්තේ වැඩසටහන දැනගෙනද අපිට මේ පැත්ත බලන්නේ අපේ දිනසය අපි තියලා දැනුවත් කළා දෙන්නේ. භූවිද්‍යාවෙන් ආවෙ නැති එක අපි පිළිගන්න අය ඔබතුමාත් දන්නේ නැති ලංකාවට මිනිස්සු පුරාට 15යි. හරිද? ඒ ලොකු වැඩතෝගයක් තියෙනවා. මේක ලොකු වැඩක් කියලා ඔබතුමාට දැනෙන්න තියෙන්න ඇති. ඒ නිසා සමාජ මතය ඔබතුමා දැන් අදහස් දීලා ඉවරනේ. ඒ නිසා ඔබතුමා මේකේ අගක් මුලක් නොදැන වොයිස් කට් දීම වැරදි නැද්ද කියලා හිතලා බලන්න. අපි මෙතන අපි දැනුවත් කරලා ඉවරයි, ඉඳන් හොයලා ඉවරයි. අපි ඒක වැඩේ තුට්ටක් පරක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මේ දැන් තියෙන්නේ දැන් තියෙන මේ ආපදාවට ලක් වෙච්ච මිනිස්සු දුකරපත් වෙච්ච මිනිස්සුන්ගේ දීදට ගෙට ගහන්න එකනේ. ඊටම අවදානක ලක් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒකට තමයි අපි කඳුරු දෙකක් හදලා ඒ වැඩ ටික කරගෙන යනවා. ඒ වැඩ ටික කරගෙන යනවා. හරිද? ඊට පස්සේ ඉඩම් ටික තෝරගෙන ඉවරයි. ඉඩම් ටික තලයේ තියෙනවා. තලයේ තියෙනවා. අපි දන්නවා වාගේ අයියව බලා ගන්න. මගේ දේශපාලනේ මම කරනවා. හැබැයි මේ මිනිස්සුන්ව මාස ගණන් කඳුරුල තියන්න බෑ. ඒකට විකල්පයක් අපි හොයන්න ඕනේ. හරි? ඒක තමයි මමත් කියන්නේ ඒකයි උඹත් කියන්නේ. ඒකට අපි දෙන්න මේකට අරගෙන වැඩක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. හරි? ඒක මල්ලි මම පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ බේර ගන්නම්. ඒක අද්දේක මට බේර ගන්න බෑ. දැන් මම කියන දේ වංගෙද බංකෝ. පොඩ පුරුදු බංකෝ ඒක. මැත්ත කියන්නේ දැන් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ තීරුම්කාරක සභාවක් දාලා වක්කීම් පැහැර හරියද නැද්ද කියන අපි හොයමු. හරි? ඒක ඔයාලට දැන් නිගමනට එන්න බෑ මට එන්න බෑ. රයිට්? මගේ මෙහාන කොල්ලෝ මගේ දේශපාලනේ වෙනස්. මට එක එකට චෝදනා කරන්නේ නැහැ මම. චෝදනා කරනවා චෝදනා ඕන තරම් තියෙනවා. දැන් අද දැක්කනේ ඇබිලිපිටියේ ගඳ හෙන්නේ කතාව. මම කිව්වේ නෑනේ මේ මීඩියා කිව්වේ. දැන් මේ මීඩියා කතාව වොයිස් කට් එක ගහනකොට මම ඇබිලිපිටියේ කතාව කිව්වද? නෑ. ළමයි දෙන්නෙක් මැරලා ඉන්නවා IDH එකේ. ඒත් විස වෙලා. ඒ ගැන මම කතා කරාද? නෑ. ඇයි ඒ කතා කරන තැනක් තියෙනවා. ඒ කතානේ මෙතන නෙවෙයි. හරි? දැන් මෙතන මේ මිනිස්සුන්ගේ ගෙවල් වලට යන පස්සේ අපි ඉස්සලා බේරගමු. හරි? ඒක කරාම අපි දෙපැත්තේ දේශපාලනය කරනවා. හරි?
Today, opposition leader Sajid Premadasa visited an area that was devastated during the recent cyclonic weather as a result of 4 rock quarries that are operating in the area. The permits for the said quarries were granted during the Yahapalana government when Sajid Premadasa held a ministerial portfolio. Premadasa visited the affected community as part of his outreach program.
Due to floods and landslides caused by Cyclone Ditwa, the Ridigama Dodangaslanda region suffered extensive damage. Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa toured the area to assess the challenges faced by residents. A villager explained to the opposition leader how the destruction occurred.
In 2016, this was a 250-acre private land. The chief custodian handed it over to a company called William Woodley to operate 4 rock quarries and a timber mill on the mountain summit. We protested back then, demanding an end to quarrying. We warned that this mountain would collapse. It's like a hollow shell now, completely mined. At that time, due to political interference and arbitrary actions by officials, no one listened despite our repeated warnings. We even predicted the timeline of destruction, saying if this continued, the land wouldn't last 10 years. Within 8 years, this mountain would slide, and now it has.
What is this environmental disaster that the opposition leader now vows to address in parliament? The people are raising concerns about the destruction caused to Gommuna mountain, which spans the Ridigama and Mawatagama divisional secretariat areas in the Kurunagala district. permission to operate quarries on this mountain was granted in 2016 when Sajith Premadasa was a minister in the Yahapalana government. At that time, environmentalists and villagers jointly demanded an immediate halt to the destruction. Sajiva Chamika of the Land and Agricultural Reform Movement highlighted through numerous letters that illegal and harmful quarrying on Gommuna mountain would lead to severe water shortages in 12 villages. He repeatedly warned of the scale of devastation that could occur during a natural disaster. Another environmentalist, Ravindra Karyavasam, emphasized in a 2017 publication that the destruction of the Gommuna mountain could trigger a water crisis across the entire northwestern province. Despite loud protests from villagers and respected environmentalists, Sajith Premadasa and MPs from his party represented the ruling government at the time. If Sajith Premadasa could not comprehend the gravity of this issue in 2016, what explains his sudden concern today?
National People's Power MP Shantha Padmakumara has responded to an allegation made publicly by Samagi Jana Balawega MP Ajit P. Pereira, rejecting the claim outright.
People voted for these MPs to bring development, not controversy. Now in the Ratnapura district, MP Shantha Padmakumara, a former school principal, has come under scrutiny. Police have reportedly seized plants from his property. Ratnapura is well known for this type of cultivation. So now questions arise. What kind of plants were seized? How many? Why did the police take action? Who owns these plants? Are there ongoing investigations? Or will this turn out to be another drama just like Ranwala's case, where the plants were not what they were claimed to be? If that's the case, the police will say so later and then disciplinary action will follow. These are the questions society is asking today.
The news circulating is that Ratnapura police conducted a raid claiming it was an MP's cannabis plantation. I personally spoke to the OIC Prasanna and the chief inspector at the station. They told me they had received several phone calls, but they have no information about such a raid. They confirmed that no such operation took place and that the allegation is false. I do not own such land. I have never cultivated cannabis or any other illegal plant. I do not consume cannabis either. So what I have to say is this. This is a completely false statement. I have no connection to this alleged incident, nor do I own any land related to it. If there is any matter to be investigated, let it be done legally. My responsibility is to reject these smear campaigns and inform the public of the truth.
Newsfirst, main sponsor.
Valuable FD, the symbol of stability. Valuable FD, the symbol of stability.
Welcome back to the news. Sri Lanka's economy recorded a robust 5.4% growth rate in the third quarter in 2025. Media briefing was held today at the Department of Government Information, where the economic development of Sri Lanka was discussed. Speaking at the briefing, Minister of Labour and Deputy Minister of Finance and Planning, Dr. Anil Jayantha Fernandes, said that based on the latest statistics issued, a robust 5.4% growth rate was seen in the economy in quarter 3 of 2025. He said that this was higher than the growth rates of 4.8% and 4.9% in the first and second quarters of 2025 respectively. The minister stated that a key factor in keeping stability in prices and the financial sector is interest rates, stressing that interest rates continue to remain stable at around 7.75% throughout this period. This prevented unnecessary fluctuations in the market. The minister also stated that there were no high volatility in the foreign exchange rate during this year, despite the outflow of dollars in the purchasing of vehicles. The minister added that these factors helped fuel the expansion of the economy.
The Ministry of Health has announced the suspension of all vaccines produced by the Indian company that manufactures the ondansetron vaccine following reports of complications. Director General of Health Services Dr. Asela Gunawardena stated that it has not yet been definitively confirmed that any deaths were caused by this vaccine.
What is ondansetron?
ondansetron is a prescription anti-nausea and anti-vomiting medication.
What is the controversy surrounding it?
The issue arose on the 12th of December when patients at the Kandy National Hospital developed complications after receiving this drug. Subsequent testing of patients' blood samples revealed the presence of microorganisms, and laboratory checks on vaccine samples also confirmed contamination. Following this, the use of the problematic batch of the ondansetron drug was immediately suspended. Investigations are now underway to determine whether the deaths of 2 patients at the National Institute of Infectious Diseases are linked to this medication.
The first patient, a 38-year-old dengue antigen-positive patient, received this drug for nausea. Following complications, the patient passed away on the morning of Saturday, the 12th of December. The post-mortem revealed he died due to dengue shock syndrome. Another patient was admitted the next day, on the 13th of December, with fever and vomiting. Once he recovered, he was discharged, but later readmitted to the same institute due to a worsening condition. The patient passed on the 14th of December at 6 a.m. We have not yet conclusively determined whether these deaths were caused by ondansetron or other underlying factors.
Has action been taken against the manufacturer?
The batch of drugs currently in use were part of multiple shipments brought into the country over recent years. On the 18th of March 2021, the Medical Supplies Division had placed an order for this drug. The technical committee had recommended the manufacturer named MAN Pharmaceuticals. This drug was delivered in March and July 2025. In 2022, another order was placed with a company named Siron Drugs and Pharmaceuticals. Another tender was called for by the Medical Supply Division on the 28th of May 2024. Procurement was done between the 2nd of July and the 15th of August. MAN Pharmaceuticals was awarded the tender on the 6th of December 2024. On the 10th of September 2025, 250,000 doses were received. Complications had arisen in patients to whom the drug provided by MAN Pharmaceuticals was injected to. The batches with issues were delivered in 2025, but the orders for these were placed in 2021 and 2024. The issue was found in 4 samples, 2 from the first stock and another 2 from the second stock. The supplier named MAN Pharmaceuticals has been registered on the 23rd of December 2022. They have been granted a 5-year license. This is a supplier registered under the NMRA and a batch of stocks obtained through proper procurement processes.
The Pathfinder Foundation, in collaboration with the Australian Trade and Investment Commission, launched 2 reports in Colombo.
2 reports named Mining Potential, a Global Opportunity, a business report on Sri Lanka's mineral sector transformation, and Sri Lanka's transformation to clean energy and net zero targets by 2050, launched by the Pathfinder Foundation and Austrade, offer a comprehensive overview of Sri Lanka's mineral and energy sectors and provide a detailed assessment of the industry's leading market players, untapped potential, entry strategies and opportunities for foreign investors and project developers, especially in Australia.
Sri Lanka has undergone a series of profound shocks. A global pandemic weakened the country and revealed structural weaknesses in public finance and service delivery. This was followed by severe economic crisis in 2022, resulting in sovereign debt default and unprecedented social stress. While enduring these hardships, Sri Lanka also had to confront global economic recession. More recently, in November 2025, that's last month, the country experienced another devastating blow from the Ditwa cyclone. The full economic cost has yet to be calculated, but it is estimated to be around 6 to 7 billion US dollars. Its impact has once again highlighted our vulnerability to climate events, external shocks, and also policy inertia. Taken together, these crises force us to ask fundamental question. Should Sri Lanka rebuild solely to restore to its previous state prior to these shocks, or should it seize the opportunity to develop a more resilient, competitive and future-ready economy? Sri Lanka today faces significant constraints, substantial external debt obligations, an IMF-supported adjustment program, and a global economic environment that is much less forgiving than before. Under these circumstances, incremental changes will not achieve growth, resilience, or social stability. What is required is a change in thinking and action, a willingness to question entrenched assumptions. Sri Lanka was, as we have often reminded ourselves, the first country in South Asia to liberalize its economy nearly half a century ago. Yet, we liberalized only partially and then we got ourselves stuck halfway. The free trade agreement with India, our key trading partner, has stagnated for decades. The status of the free trade agreements with Singapore and Thailand, signed in 2018 and 2024, is no better. The cost of this hesitation is evident in our growth performance, export profile, and investment inflows. Sri Lanka has set ambitious targets: 70% renewable energy by 2030 and carbon neutrality by 2050. Achieving these target goals will require significant investment, advanced technology, and integration into global supply chains. Domestic resources alone will not be enough. Sri Lanka must therefore become a credible and appealing destination for foreign investment in clean energy. An honest assessment of the past decade or two indicates that Sri Lanka has struggled to attract sustained large-scale foreign investment, especially in capital-intensive sectors. The key question, therefore, is not only that our targets are, but also whether our policies, regulatory frameworks, and institutional practices are aligned to achieve these objectives.
The launch was attended by Minister of Industry and Entrepreneurship Development Sunil Handunathi and High Commissioner of Australia to Sri Lanka Matthew Duckworth, together with other distinguished guests.
Police say the surviving suspect in the Bondi Beach shooting, Naveed Akram, now faces 59 charges, including multiple counts of murder and a terrorism-related offence. Funerals have begun for the victims, while more than 20 injured people remain hospitalized across Sydney.
Naveed Akram, the surviving alleged suspect in Sunday's mass shooting at Bondi Beach in Sydney, has been charged with 59 offences, including 15 counts of murder and one of committing a terrorist act. The second gunman, identified as his father, 50-year-old Sajid Akram, was killed in an exchange of fire with the police at the scene. Akram also faces 40 charges of causing grievous bodily harm with intent to murder, as well as one charge of causing a public display of a prohibited terrorist organisation symbol. He was critically injured during the attack and appeared for his first court hearing from his hospital bed, according to the New South Wales court. The case has been adjourned until April 2026.
Bangladesh secured a 39-run victory in their Under-19 Asia Cup encounter against Sri Lanka.
Batting first, Bangladesh were bowled out for 225 runs in 46.3 overs. Openers Jawad Abrar and Rifat Beg provided a solid foundation, putting on an 84-run partnership for the first wicket. Jawad Abrar missed out on a half-century after being dismissed for 49 runs, while Rifat Beg chipped in with 36 runs. Kavi Jagamage was the pick of the bowlers for Sri Lanka, finishing with impressive figures of 4 for 38. He was also supported by Rasit Nimsara, picking up 2 wickets for 57 runs. Chasing a target of 226, the Sri Lankan top order struggled early on, losing 4 wickets for just 44 runs. Captain Vimat Dimsara was dismissed for 17 runs, while Chamika Heenatigala top scored with 41. Adam Hilmi added a useful 39, but it wasn't enough to bridge the gap. Sri Lanka was eventually bowled out for 186, handing Bangladesh a 39-run victory. You can catch all the live action of the tournament on TV1 and online via sirisatv.lk, the official local broadcast rights holder of the tournament. And that's a wrap of the news for tonight.
Thank you for watching.
Good night.